Last night, Bernie Sanders held a town hall with Jamaal Bowman, Rashida Tlaib, and Cori Bush. So Cori Bush and Jamaal Bowman are not yet in Congress, but they both won their Democratic primaries, so they're both going to be in Congress next year. Rashida Tlaib, of course, is already in Congress, part of the squad. I want to show you this clip. So this was Jamaal Bowman kind of making an offhand remark here, and I want to chain this into another discussion about what potentially could happen if Biden takes out Donald Trump in November. But first, here is Jamaal Bowman making a very accurate comment.
Cori, before we go to you, Bernie, if the Democratic establishment didn't gang up on you and jump you, you would have been the nominee for the Democratic Party. You outraised everyone. You was killing them. They had to jump you in order to beat you. So I just want to say that outright. If they didn't jump you, you would have been the nominee. So I just want to say that. My bad. Go ahead.
We know. Thank you very much, Jamaal. And let me thank all three of you for your support. Rashida and I have been working together for a long time. Jamaal, I know you've been there. Cori, I think the last event we did before we had to stop events because of the virus was in St. Louis, and Cori was great.
All right. So first, it's funny to see Bernie just not want to directly acknowledge what Jamaal Bowman just said. But of course, Jamaal Bowman is 100% correct. The Democratic Party establishment jumped Bernie at the last minute. Of course, talking about Super Tuesday there, or right before Super Tuesday, where you had Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg both drop out and back Joe Biden, showing you that they're well aware. Everybody there is well aware of what happened in the primary. Now, I show you this, in part for entertainment. It's it's fun to watch that, but also because I want to remind you of the kind of fight that can happen under a Biden administration, because it's happened before under Barack Obama. Now, back then, there were a lot more people that were under the Obama spell, because Obama is a fantastic politician in the sense that he can give really grandiose speeches, make people feel good, but ultimately, there wasn't really much behind it in terms of the fight that he pretended to have back in 2008 in the campaign. But I want to remind you of what could happen with Joe Biden. So this is back in, I believe, 2013. This is off the Bernie Sanders YouTube page. Watch this clip from CNN, and you're going to wonder why I'm playing this until it gets to Bernie Sanders.
In 2008, candidate Obama vowed he would not cut Social Security.
Now's the time to protect Social Security for future generations.
Oh, but fast forward to 2013, bloodied over failed budget negotiations with Republicans, the president bit the bullet, proposing cost of living adjustments to Social Security and other federal benefits worth $230 billion. If you want to know exactly what that means, let's say you got $12,972 in Social Security last year. That is the average benefit. If the new system were already in place, you would get only $12,136 this year. That's $633 less. Even some lawmakers who support the president, they're furious.
In 2008, he said that he would not cut Social Security. We want the president to remember what he said and not go back on his word.
So there you go. Back in 2013, Bernie Sanders led the charge against Barack Obama and Obama's proposal to cut Social Security. In fact, here's a little more on that. This is an article from The Intercept. Obama wanted to cut Social Security, then Bernie Sanders happened. So they reference here how Bernie Sanders mobilized a wide coalition of organizations, including veterans, women's rights groups, and labor unions, to oppose chained CPI. Chained CPI is what would have led to cutting Social Security. And here from the Bernie Sanders official page, Senate opposes chained CPI cuts to Social Security veterans benefits. And of course, you have the amendment by Bernie Sanders leading the charge there. Now, I show you this because it's a reminder of how these sorts of politicians, how people like Bernie Sanders, like Rashida Tlaib, like Cori Bush, like Jamaal Bowman, how they are different than your typical Democratic politicians. These are people who actually stand up for the average individual, actually stand up for the working class. So if you have a Biden administration, I'm under no illusions that there's going to be, a Bernie Sanders style platform that's going to get through it. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that you will have an actual fight. There will be discussions. There will be no more Donald Trump taking over the airwaves every goddamn day. There will be we will actually be able to have discussions about policy, actually be able to have discussions about how to push not just the U.S. forward, but the world forward. And those discussions won't just be had, on YouTube or on Twitter, but by people that are going to be in Congress. So this is a reminder of what this election's about, because it's really easy to fall into the trap of, there's two horrible candidates. No one's not denying that. Two horrible candidates. How can you possibly bring yourself to vote for Joe Biden? I 100% empathize with that. But you have to think about it in a different way. When you have two candidates this bad, you're not voting for the person you like. You're voting for the person that you want to fight. Do you want to fight Donald Trump, who brings his federal officers into various cities? You saw in Portland, snatching up people off the street into unmarked vans, driving off, shooting tear gas into peaceful protests with moms standing at the front of the line? Or do you want to fight a Biden administration? Democrats are incredibly weak. That is one thing about the party. They are incredibly weak. They are horrible at politics, at political strategy. They are horrible at winning people over. But if you have fighters like this, and there's more, obviously. You have Ilhan Omar, AOC, and others. Fighters like this mounting a real fight in Congress against the status quo of a Biden administration. There are going to be real discussions about various issues, especially once Trump is out. Again, we're making a lot of assumptions here. But if Trump is out, you're going to have deeper discussions about healthcare, with all these people now off their health care thanks to losing their job through over COVID-19. You're going to have discussions about lack of income, lack of actual help for people. Cori Bush, I saw a recent video on this after she won her primary. She said one of her first goals is to fight for $2,000 a month for individuals, for Americans, and to make it in a way that it I forget the exact terminology, but it would start back in March and go until whenever. So you have people starting the conversation at a UBI. These are fighters here. These are people that are unafraid. You have Jamaal Bowman just coming out and saying, hey, the Democratic establishment, Bernie, they screwed you. Saying that on a live stream with thousands of people watching. He's going to be a congressperson. People know who he is. He's saying this publicly. He doesn't care. These are going to be people that are going to be fighting for you in Congress. But the fight can't go far or do anything if you have Trump in the White House. If Trump is the person that everybody continues to focus on, whether it's the media, politicians, whoever, if Trump is in the White House, it's hard to ignore. So you have to cut off the tumor. You have to get Trump out to have some real discussions about policy. So, look, that's all I'm going to say about this. I think, I think there's also a great case to be made just in terms of harm reduction. You see how coronavirus has destroyed the U.S. and compare that to other countries that just with basic liberalism and even in some cases conservative governments like in the UK with Boris Johnson, they brought their numbers down. I'm not saying that as a way to sell Boris Johnson. I'm saying that as when you have a neo-fascist in the White House, it makes a difference in pandemics like this, where the leaders simply don't care about their citizens. It makes a difference when you have someone who at least somewhat wants to get rid of the virus in charge. So hopefully, I'm beginning to think I don't really have to make the case. You look at the polling, it's pretty clear right now in favor of Biden. Of course, the worry is going to continue to be voter suppression, voter disenfranchisement, Trump talking about mail-in balloting and how that's, it's a rigged system. And now they're taking steps to really decimate the post office, the U.S. Postal Service. And that may have an impact on mail-in balloting come November. So a lot of, question marks around that. But ultimately, understand this election is not about voting for who you like. Both candidates are garbage. This election is about voting for who you want to fight.